It's inevitable. Given the recent success of the Blumhouse trilogy, and yes, no matter what you thought of it based on its almost $500 million box office earnings alone, it was wildly successful. Halloween will be reborn in some way. Now, whether or not that is in the form of a remake or a reimagining of the 1978 original film remains to be seen, but let's face it, something's gonna happen. Characters like Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Leatherface, they are today's Universal monsters. They will always continue to come back because they will put butts in seats and they will make that box office number continue to climb. Now, I've gotten my own thoughts on what a potential remake or reimagining of Halloween should look like, but my goal is to, at some point, do something with that idea here on the channel. So for now, without saying too much, my remake of Halloween would have a very clear emphasis on the character of Dr. Loomis. So without going into too much detail, Loomis would be the center focus of my Halloween remake, and the Laurie Strode character will still be there and play a massive role, and Annie and Linda and Brackett and all of the other Halloween characters that we all know and love, but Loomis would be kind of the central focus, and I'd be interested in how Loomis is affected by Michael Myers and by what has happened and by him studying him and spending so much time with him over the course of the last 15 years, and how that drives him to try to stop him when he escapes on Halloween night. And one of the biggest questions involving a potential reimagining of the Halloween story is the casting choices. Who would play Laurie? Who would play Loomis? What actor or actress is going to bring what they need to really make that role pop and to make it their own and to bring something new to that characterization? Who will do these characters justice? Here are my choices. First up is Dr. Loomis. Dr. Loomis is seasoned. He's brilliant, but he can appear really cold. You can tell he's seen things. He's very intellectual. He's very smart. He doesn't show emotion much, but when he does, it's very, very intense. My personal pick for the character of Dr. Loomis would be the one and only Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman is one of my absolute favorite actors of all time, and he is a fantastic performer with a massive range. He's always been one of my absolute favorites, and he kills it in just about everything he's in, from the Dark Knight trilogy to the Harry Potter films, The Darkest Hour, The Fifth Element, The Book of Eli. I mean, the guy is just nuts in every single role he plays. I think that he could bring the seriousness and the emotional intensity to the Dr. Loomis character that is needed to really make him pop amongst the circumstances and amongst the story and kind of what's happening throughout. And I would be really, really intrigued to see what Gary Oldman would do with that particular character in that particular performance. Next up is Laurie Strode. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I struggled with trying to choose who I would cast as Laurie Strode in a Halloween remake, but the other night, it was movie night, as we do in our household at least once a week, and my wife was showing me the recent adaptation of Where the Crawdads Sing, which is a novel by Delia Owens, and it just hit me. My personal pick for Laurie Strode is Daisy Edgar Jones. Now, why do I think that Daisy Edgar Jones would make a good Laurie Strode? Well, there's actually a couple of reasons. I've recently seen her in two different things. Hulu's Under the Banner of Heaven, and also Where the Crawdads Sing, which I just watched with my wife the other night. In Under the Banner of Heaven, she plays a real-life murder victim that is on a mission to better the lives of her and her children amongst really extreme religious circumstances, and it's also set in that time period, which kind of works as well. And the more and more I thought about this, the more and more I was like, man, she could be a really, really interesting pick for Laurie. She's cute, she's quiet, but she's well spoken to, and she's smart and she's bold, but she's sweet. And I could see her being able to pull off the sweet girl next door thing that Laurie Strode has going, but in addition, she plays strong very well too. In Where the Crawdads Sing, she gets to explore very different emotional states, and she can play tough really well too. And Laurie has to show that inner strength at some point in the Halloween story. That's such a crucial part of that final girl foundation that Laurie Strode helped to build amongst the horror community and amongst horror films. It's what makes Laurie such a great final girl in the first place. I mean, I loved all of the things that Daisy Edgar Jones was able to portray just through facial expressions alone, and very minimal things that meant a lot in terms of the moment and the scene and what was trying to be portrayed. And I'd be very interested to see what she could do in a character-driven horror film. Now, as far as my pick for a writer and a director, I'm not super picky in that area. As long as someone puts the characters and the story first, I'm kind of game with whoever to write and direct a Halloween sequel. I'm not really super picky there. Either way, my bet is that they're going to tackle Season of the Witch first, just to kind of give Michael a rest, to keep that Halloween spirit alive, and then in 5, 10, 15 years, we'll get the shape again in some way. Now again, what that exactly looks like, I don't know. I have my thoughts. I'm sure a lot of people have their thoughts on what Halloween should look like in the future, but until we get there, we can do what we're doing right now and speculate. So as always, I want to hear what you think. Who would your casting choices be if they were to remake Halloween tomorrow? As always, I want to hear your thoughts, so leave me a comment down below. New episodes of Let's Talk Movies, Purely and Simply Evil, and Classics Revisited premiere every single week at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, with brand new videos dropping every Tuesday night. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at LTM Podcast KY. Be sure to leave this one a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, click the notification bell, and we will talk to you soon. Have an awesome rest of your night. Be good to each other. Peace.